Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for the late start. My name is Alyssa Cooper, and this is Cooking in Quarantine. So today, you are going to watch me make something that I have fantasized about for a very long time. Back in the 90s, I worked in a restaurant in Midtown where we regularly had as a special Duchess Soup. Duchess Soup is really easy, and it fits very well into this idea that I've been talking about of mastering the mother sauces, right? So one of the offshoots of bechamel, which we know is just butter and flour and milk. When you add cheese to it, it becomes Mornay sauce. My Kentucky friends know Mornay sauce because that goes on a hot brown. And everybody else knows Mornay sauce because that's what makes mac and cheese, right? So anyway, I have only gotten so far as getting everything cut up and ready to go. So I'll tell you what my ingredients are. I had some good Reggiano. I got some extra sharp and some regular cheddar cheese. I used the mild only because I wanted a little bit of color in it, but I didn't want all of my cheddars to be yellow. Then some recipes call only for carrot, celery, and onion. But my memory is that this was made with a Holy Trinity. So I have added to that carrots and bell peppers, onions, and celery. And I have everything very small as I could get it. I'm not the queen of knife skills, so there's that. Good morning, Denise. How are you? So here's where we're going to start. First, I'm going to start with the Dutch oven because that's where I'm going to saute my vegetables. I'm going to use the all-clad to make the Mornay because that is a thing that needs to be whisked and moved constantly, so you certainly don't want to put a wire whisk against your beautiful all-clad pan. So let's start. It says a tablespoon of butter, but I'm going to do a little bit more just because it's a cheese soup. How can you go wrong? And I also added the addition of the bell pepper. So I stuck pretty much to the proportions here. It said 2 carrots. So once I saw what the eyeball was for the 2 carrots, I did the same thing for all the other veg, right? And I see that, come on, don't do this. This has been deviling me. That burner has deviled me for a week and doesn't want to turn on. So let me let this one and see if I can get this one to come on now. Let's see. Sometimes it's like starting a car on a cold winter's morning. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to do it over here, even though I don't really want to. My stove is going to win today. So I'm just silly me, I did so many things this morning, but I didn't get the butter out of the refrigerator. So if you can tell me what movie that's from, you win an extra point. Maybe you could come over for Duchess Soup today. So how did everybody's Thanksgiving go? I hope you were safe, that you stayed within your pod people, right? And did not become a super spreader. Princeton University has published a study that says that it's the little kids that we think, oh, well, they're not spreading it because they're not getting it. No, they're not getting it. They're just spreading it. So boys and girls, just a few more months. I read the other day, now I've gotten conflicting reports, but I've heard that recently that by the spring, we're going to be to the point that you can on demand get an inoculation against this virus. And that said, stay home, guys. We're like 10 months into this thing, 8 months, whatever it is. Don't ruin it. Just keep it together just a little while longer. And remember, keep your mask on around little children. Anybody who has children or has been around children knows that they are tiny little sponges for germs anyway, right? All right, so I've got a nice fist-sized pile of very, very finely cut onions and a tiny mince of celery. And we're going to start this in the pan. Part of the reason I did these so small is that while this is not necessarily a soup that calls for it to be pureed, it's a soup where, at least for me, I like it to be like for almost all of the stuff to melt into it, right? So there's that. Now nice and all covered with the butter, and my extra butter was well warranted, I believe. So now I'm going to put the others in here. And again, a tiny little fine mince of the bell pepper, and I shredded on the grater, I shredded the carrot. So, oh, this is smelling really, really great. So now this, pardon me, can just sort of sit here and cook as it softens up and everything gets soft and pretty, right? And releases all of its flavors. And you know that this literally doesn't call for any salt or pepper, but that absolutely does not sit okay with me. I can't fathom in what world you would not salt or pepper. And of course, as you know, I love, my nukes used to put chili flakes in everything. Yeah, I don't know any world in which you would not at least a little bit of. Now maybe they think that my gallon of stock is going to have some salt and pepper in it. Well, I would rather season my own food. So here we go. So there is that. That veg is there, set up, ready to roll, and just needs to soften up. And the next piece is going to be, we're going to make some mire. So this calls for 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of flour with 2 cups of milk. So let's get our milk and our cheese. Hello, Thomas darling. How are you? There we go. What did I say I'm looking for? 2 cups of milk. I need a measuring cup. Here we go. And boom. And there we go. So, milk is all milk and cheese. Milk and cheese. Very good. And we're back. So, milk and cheese. So here to start, we need to have our 2 tablespoons of butter. Thank goodness that they mark them for us. Isn't that nice, right? 2 tablespoons of butter into the pan. I'm going to get my 2 tablespoons of flour ready to roll. A tablespoon. Here we go. So I'm going to set this and this and do this. Just a couple quick tablespoons of flour. 1 and 2. You guys know that I like to put mine through a little sieve just because sifting it makes it easier, I think, to keep from letting it get lumpy. Oh, so now I'm going to have to break out the matches and force my thing to light. So here we go. So this morning I got up and I did what I can only describe as what I think that people must say when they say that they threw their back out. I bent over to pick up the giant laundry basket that I had not done in so long. I think there were like 13 pairs of yoga pants that came out of the laundry this morning. Think about that. I am not in I always wear a pair of yoga pants at least twice. So there's that. Of course I do Pilates, so it's not a really sweaty kind of thing. But anyway, I got up this morning, there was a lot of them, and when I bent over to pick that up, oh, Mama Mia, my poor body was like, yikes. And so part of the reason that we're a little slow starting here today is that I had to get in an Epsom salts bath before I thought I could come on here and smile my way through making soup. So here comes 2 cups. Now I'm going to have to give some of this soup away, so if you're in my neighborhood today, it literally calls for 2 cups of milk and a gallon of stock. I can't even fathom. So one thing I'm doing here today is I'm going to be using my favorite, this delicious, amazing hearty vegetable stock. And I better turn the heat down here or I'll burn my butter. Because I just started thinking about things, at least since, well, there's still a little bit of paper on the butter, so let's go and save that. See, isn't it hilarious watching me mess up live on TV? It makes none of you ever want to come to my house for dinner ever again, does it? So, anyway, so if anybody is in the neighborhood and they don't mind a little paper in their soup, please tell me, come, and if you bring your own Tupperware, I'll fill it to the brim. So I'm going to keep giving my veggies over here a little stir, just so that they continue to give off yumminess and all that. And I don't want them to cook too fast, but I do want them to soften up nicely. Those are looking beautiful. And it's almost time, boys and girls. It's almost time. And let's start the flour. And the flour. And more flour. And you just gotta keep it moving. That's all. It's like my friend's great grandmother used to say, if you weren't born with perfect features, keep them moving, right? So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep this moving. Here we go. Oh, nice. That is looking pretty. Looking pretty. Now, you know, it gets to be where it's kind of like almost pasty, right? So if you keep it moving, and you can let it cook just a little bit. The more you can keep it moving, the better it's going to taste, because you don't ever want to do it too fast, I don't think, because you ever been to a mediocre fish house where they didn't cook the roux right, and so everything tastes like flour instead of tasting like lobster or crab or whatever it's supposed to taste like. So I always just give it a little extra time here. Let it bubble up a little bit. An extra minute or 2 is not going to change your life one bit, except to make it better. All right, here we go. Now it's milk time. It's milk time, baby. And I'm going to treat this just like I would treat it if I were putting olive oil into my Cuisinart, except you've got to keep it moving. You got to keep it moving. Here we are. There. Finally, we're getting to the right place. Excellent. That first little blast of liquid sometimes makes that roux tighten up super fast. I'm going to have to turn this off because I can't pay attention to 2 things at once. No man can serve 2 masters, right? So there we go. So while I'm getting this all in, I'll turn the heat down on my veg over here. And now what we want this to do is come up to kind of a simmer. I'm going to make sure I've got all the good stuff off the sides of my pan. And I might as well put the last little tiny bits of flour right in there. And now I'm just going to give this a good little stir over here. And I've started to get some brown bits going over here with this. I started to smell a little brown bit, and I wasn't sure if I was controlling it well enough, so I'll give me some heat again. So for a girl who woke up half broken, I have done 2 loads of laundry, been to Trader Joe's shopping for the show, done all my prep, and then took an Epsom salts bath before getting ready for today. So that is my story. Although it's one of those things that I know I tell you all the time, to be careful and to look out for your health and all that, but I've been going to physical therapy, and so as the pain ameliorates in one place, it seems to be coming back in a compensatory place, so who knows what's going on in here. So I'm just waiting for this milk to come up to temperature, and let's see. Nope, it's still kind of cool, but it tastes like milk and butter. It doesn't taste like flour. How are we doing on heat? That's pretty low. I think I can go a little higher. There we go. I can go a little higher, but you don't want to lose control because milk can scald and cheese can burn. And here's my big old pile of cheese. This is about a half a pound. I put a little more than a half a pound on the scale because, you know, when you grate it, there's always a little tiny piece that you can't grate unless you grate your fingers into it too. So that's for me. That's the me piece of cheese. All right, we are just waiting for this cheese, this milk and roux combination, which is known as bechamel, once it begins to thicken up. And I swear I keep smelling like something's burning, like on fire burning, like little flames. Oh well, something. I don't see anything burning, so what's the worst that can happen? So this is just playing the waiting game. This is a watched pot situation. I'm just waiting. So I hope you guys all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you did some cool stuff with your Thanksgiving leftovers. I still have actually a nice couple big slabs of mine. And what I would say is that if I do that kind of layered shepherd's pie again, I would put a layer of the cranberry in it. It needed to have the acidity. That's what was missing from it. It was too much butter, too much richness, too much gravy, too much mashed potato. It was all wonderful stuff, but all piled together, it really needed that pop of acidity. All right, I can feel that this is starting to coat my pan. Nice. Give that a good turn. See if it's going to start. It's so close. We're starting to get bubbles around the edges. I just don't want to put this in. I don't want to start putting it in too early because it says I'm supposed to get it to a very, very light boil, a very light simmer. So I'm going to have my stock here, my first stock ready to go for when it's time. I hate this. I'm so excited. Oh, there is one thing that I am going to do. And I kept looking at it and thinking, there's like something missing from here. Oh, there we go. And I thought, it's umami. So we are going to put a dash. There we go. Now it looks beautiful. And you can see that it's starting to thicken up. And I even think I want to let it get just a little thicker now that it's bubbling almost all the way to the center. But just a really soft simmer. Oh, it looks so nice. Almost to the middle, almost to the middle. All right, I'm gonna go to a place where I don't lose every piece onto the floor, and I'm gonna take handfuls of the cheese, and we're just gonna gently incorporate that. A little bit at a time, a handful at a time. Here we go, nice. Now there is probably the question, most people would say whenever there's a bechamel you want to do a little nutmeg. That is not something I would do here for a number of reasons. But mostly because I think you want this to be savory in a different way. All right, we are getting there, kids. I'm so excited. I don't think I've ever quite done this so well before. Okay, and you could do any kind of mixture that you would like here of cheeses. Like I said, I think it's cheddar is traditional to this soup. And then I think as soon as you see that the cheese is all incorporated into the thing, into this, I'm going to start slowly adding the stock. Oh yes, we're going to be eating Duchess soup around here for a while. Really, if you're in the neighborhood, come by. Just my doorbell isn't working. Tell my doorman that I'm expecting you. Show him your Tupperware. That'll be your entree, and the first 2 people are the winners. Let's give this a little stir. Over here. Nice. And we're going to keep on and keep on and keep on. And I'm going to say this. I love the texture that this is right now. And I do not think that it needs another box of stock. Oh, that looks so nice. Now I'm going to do the last step, which is I'm going to hopefully have enough room in this pot to slowly add the delicious, glorious contents of this pan right here. Perfect amount. Excellent. Duchess soup. I am going to put a couple of shots of umami in here because that's who I am. But I think maybe we should taste it first and just see what it tastes like. Just exactly how we made it. Of course, it's not the recipe because you know me, I can't follow the recipe. Hello, Nance, how are you? I can't believe your little one is no longer a little one and all grown up. It seems like just yesterday that we were all children here living in New York. That's delicious. Okay, like really, what's burning? That's not burning. It smells kind of like paper or food is burning. It's probably something on the stove that I didn't get cleaned up from the last thing. Okay, this definitely needs salt. So we're going to give that a couple of cranks of salt here. And it needs some pepper. And more chili flakes. More cowbell. It needs more cowbell. That's all. All right. Now, I think I'm going to be happier about this when it gets all oogied up. Let's see. And this definitely needs, yeah, I don't know what in the world they're thinking with this proportion, but this does not need a gallon of stock. It would so lessen the intensity of flavor. Yeah, this is crazy talk. Anyway, this is now my Duchess soup, and I can call it so because I made it special on my own, right? So, here we go. Let's try this out. Now with a little bit more stuff. Now it definitely is going to need to cook a little more. Now we're talking. Oh, wow, guys. Now it's good. Duchess soup at my house. Feel free to invite yourself over. That's really going to kick it up a notch. You watch it. You watch. That's going to be the last thing it needed to be absolutely perfect. Now, see, I need another cup out of which to drink. Here we go. Now let's try. Oh, Mamma Mia, so good. Although I do realize I just screwed up the whole vegetarian. I guess, no, it never was going to be vegan, was it? So it's okay. I guess, although, where do vegetarians come down on Worcestershire sauce? I'm not sure. I guess it's the... I'm not sure. I can't judge that. Anyway, sorry about it, but it's really good. Oh, it's going to be so good. Now, I didn't put any garlic in it specifically because the recipes I looked at, everybody said, oh, This is really, really good if you have it with garlic bread. So I'm thinking, yum, garlic bread. That'll be my garlic. Mmm. So good. So guys, all I can say is thank you. Happy Christmas season. It's December the 1st. I am born the week before the eve of Jesus' birthday, which means that December is a month in which I have to make my own fun. And so that said, I have a now, wow, 24-year-long tradition that in December I drink bubbles, only bubbles, and every day. So in that spirit, it seems only right that I come over here and get a nice bottle of bubbles out of the fridge and have a little sip, just because I made such a nice soup, right? So anyway, I'm going to give that a celebratorial. It is my birthday month. It is the first day of the last month of 2020, which is somehow almost impossible to believe when I think back to that Monday, which I think would have been March the 9th, when I realized just how, holy cow, big this thing was going to be. And that it is now December. I'm thinking, Mama Mia, you know, you could have made a new person in this amount of time, right? So, to my birthday month, I say cheers. To the end, to the beginning of to the continuing holiday season, I say cheers. And to the end of 2020, I look forward to saying cheers. So be prepared that on January 1st, here on Cooking in Quarantine, we will be making black-eyed peas and any and all foods that can be construed as good luck bringing foods, okay? So if you know any of those good luck bringing foods, please bring them to my attention. Since I am my own research department, help me out, boys and girls. So anyway, here's to this. We've only got so much 2020 left, guys. There's only so much left. So cheers. Take care, be smart. Don't kill Grandma. The hospitals are full. Stay well, stay strong. If I haven't been telling you this all along, then that is really, really bad on my part. But if you don't know about Tibetan rites, you should know about Tibetan rites. Tibetan rites is a distillation of the 5,000 postures that comprise yoga, the physical aspect of yoga, the physical practice of yoga. And so Tibetan rites is a distillation of, we normally talk about 5 because the 6th should only be practiced by people who are looking to sublimate their sexual drive. So if you are looking to have a sexual drive, you do not want to do the 6th one. But they are 5 very simple exercises that literally, the real purpose of them from a yogic perspective is to get your chakras all spinning in the right way and in harmony with one another. But more importantly, in these 5 exercises, you work every single muscle in the body. So just Google 5 Tibetan rites, and if you don't understand how to do it, send me a note here and we'll do them live on TV. So there are those. There's I read a book many years ago about the European Englishman who went and spent some time in Tibet. And, you know, in the Victorian age, people got sick and died pretty early and pretty young. And so he was like most industrial revolution men and women even, kind of getting to the end of life by 45, you know, and elderly, getting towards elderly at 45, 50. And went and spent this time in Tibet and came back like a teenager. And so it might be worth your time to devote the few minutes a day. If you've not done it, if you're not an active person, start with 3 of each. 3 spins. 3 leg lifts, right? 3 of each of the ones. And then if you get comfortable with that, go to 7. And then when you get comfortable with that, 14, 21, 28, to the ideal if you can do 7 sets of 7, meaning 49. So there you go. That's my how to get through the holiday season without going anywhere, and how to get through the winter without losing your mind. Let's have a bikini challenge. Let's see if all of us over 50 girls can wear bikinis to the beach this spring. I love you all. Eat well. Stay well. Be smart. Ciao, guys.